Hello viewers, this is 𝗞𝗲𝘀 and you're welcome to Year Recap 2025, Palestine throughout the year. 2025 unfolded as one of the most violent and politically charged years for Palestinians, marked by continued Israeli military operations, despite ceasefire agreements, deepening humanitarian crisis, escalating settler violence, unprecedented attacks on journalists, and fragile international efforts to end the war on Gaza. Despite a ceasefire agreement reached in October, Israeli forces continued deadly operations in Gaza throughout 2025. Palestinian news agency Wafa reported that Israeli soldiers fatally shot 𝗞𝗲𝘆𝘄cie𝗿𝗱𝘀 east of Gaza City while he was sitting near the entrance of a school. He was taken to a hospital in critical condition and later died of his injuries. Earlier in the week, 2 more Palestinians were shot and killed by Israeli forces in the Shujaya neighborhood, also east of Gaza City. Since the beginning of the truce, Israeli attacks in Gaza have killed at least 411 Palestinians and wounded 1,112 others, according to Palestinian authorities. During the 11-week ceasefire alone, Israel continued near daily strikes, killing at least 406 people, many of them civilians. At the same time, Israel maintained strict restrictions on humanitarian aid, defying the ceasefire terms. The Gaza government media office said only an average of 244 aid trucks were entering Gaza per day, far below the 600 trucks required under the agreement. The restrictions denied displaced Palestinians access to essential goods and temporary shelter during severe winter storms, worsening an already catastrophic humanitarian situation. Violence intensified across the occupied West Bank in 2025 with frequent Israeli military raids and settler attacks. Wafa reported that a Palestinian municipal worker was injured after being assaulted by settlers outside Nablus, while farmers east of Tubas were detained by Israeli forces as they attempted to work on their land. Israeli raids also targeted the communities of Yatta and Beit Umar near Hebron, where several Palestinians were detained, including a woman, 4 children, and an elderly man. Palestinian activists said the elderly man was arrested after settlers damaged the fence surrounding his home. Rights groups noted that Israeli authorities almost never hold settlers accountable for violence against Palestinian communities. In northern Israel, 2 people were killed after a Palestinian man from the occupied West Bank rammed his car into a crowd in the Beit Shean. The incident occurred one day after footage circulated showing an Israeli settler running over a Palestinian man praying on the side of a road in the West Bank. Israel also carried out near daily attacks in Lebanon throughout the year, violating a separate ceasefire. United Nations peacekeeping forces, UNIFIL, said they came under heavy machine gun fire from Israeli positions in southern Lebanon. Live ammunition and a grenade landed close to a UN patrol inspecting a roadblock in the village of Bashundhara, despite UNIFIL having notified the Israeli military in advance. The UN warned that attacks on peacekeepers constitute serious violations of Security Council Resolution 1701. 2025 marked a peak in Israel's long-running campaign against Palestinian journalists. The Palestinian Journalist Syndicate said Israel implemented a policy of silencing the press through killing, injury, and permanent disability, shifting from restricting journalistic work to neutralizing journalists through deadly force. By the end of November 2025, at least 76 Palestinian journalists had been killed or wounded. Over the past 26 months, nearly 300 journalists and media workers were killed in Gaza, an average of about 12 per month, according to Shireen PS. Amongst the dead were several Al Jazeera journalists, including Anas al-Sharif, who was killed in August along with 3 colleagues in what Palestinians described as targeted assassinations. The syndicate documented repeated strikes on clearly identified journalists wearing press gear and working in known media locations. In April, Israeli attacks hit a journalist's tent at Nasser Hospital on April 7th and 8th, wounding 9 reporters and destroying equipment. Several later died of their injuries. April and May were described as a phase of deliberate media massacres. Many journalists suffered permanent disabilities. Akram Dalul lost his sight, Jamal Badar had his leg amputated, and Muhammad Fayek was left paralyzed. The syndicate said these attacks amount to war crimes and crimes against humanity, describing Israel's operational logic as no witnesses, no narrative, no image. In December, Reporters Without Borders confirmed that Israel killed more journalists in 2025 than any other country, calling Palestine one of the most dangerous places in the world to practice journalism. Despite international condemnation, Israel has never arrested or charged its troops for killing journalists, including veteran Al Jazeera correspondent Shireen Abu Akleh, who was killed in 2022. Amidst the violence, a major diplomatic development came late in the year. U.S. President Donald Trump announced that Israel and Hamas had agreed to the first phase of a peace framework aimed at ending the war on Gaza. The plan followed Trump's 20-point proposal unveiled in September and, including the release of Israeli captives and Palestinian prisoners, Israeli troop withdrawal to an agreed line, and increased aid access. Trump said all captives could be released very soon, possibly within days. Hamas said surviving captives could be freed within 72 hours of Israeli approval, while Israel indicated the process could begin soon. About 20 Israeli captives are believed to be alive in Gaza. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called the agreement a great day for Israel, while Hamas said it included an end to the war. Israeli withdrawal, the opening of the Rafah crossing, and the release of prisoners, including 250 Palestinians serving life sentences, and all women and children in detention. However, major uncertainties remain. Disagreements persist over the extent of Israel's withdrawal, Gaza's post-war governance, and Hamas's disarmament. While the U.S. plans to establish a Palestinian technocratic government and a multinational peace council in early 2026, Netanyahu has resisted key provisions, and Israeli officials have stated that Israel will never leave Gaza. Analysts warn that without strong external pressure, Israel is unlikely to fully implement the ceasefire. More than 67,000 people have been killed in Israel's war on Gaza, which international rights organizations and a UN commission have described as a genocide. As 2025 ends, Palestine faces a fragile ceasefire, a devastated Gaza, rising regional tensions, and deep uncertainty over whether international diplomacy can translate into lasting peace, accountability, and justice for Palestinians. Thank you so much for watching, dear viewers. Please stay tuned with Daily Sun for more of the Year Recap series.